Sec here. Make sure we're in the shot. Yeah.
Want to do a solo section from my record? We can do.
Dude, I'll follow you wherever you want to go. As long as it doesn't
chords.
have, like, 95 changes in it.
4 chords. Nice simple loop.
All right. What are they?
It's 1, 6, 2, 5, and E.
All right.
But they're major, minor, and the 2 and 5 are both dominants.
I like that.
Nice, easy.
Alright, let me check my tuning real quick. Make sure I don't screw your song up. Alright, why don't you go ahead and start that groove, I'll jump in. Dude, you have just some ridiculous stuff going on over there, dude. Oh, man. So, dude, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Guys, Matthew Chase here. So, by all accounts, most of my musician friends around town are like, you're probably like one of the best, busiest, tasteful dudes like around. Like, you were extremely highly recommended.
Oh, cool, man. Well, thank you, whoever did that.
Yeah, a lot of people. Believe me, a lot of people. So, you play in, you have your own band, right? And then you do Jazz Is Phish.
Mm-hmm.
And then you do the James Brown Dance Party. And then you also play in, what, the John Nichols Band?
John Nichols Band, and Navasha Dea is another artist I've been working with since 2010 or 9, something like that.
Dude, that's
She's incredible.
That's a lot. I was not familiar with that one, with her.
Yeah, we just did a Hendrix tribute on the 16th of December.
Right, you told me about that. Couldn't make it out.
Crazy.
How'd that go?
Oh my god, unbelievable.
Yeah?
So much fun, yeah.
All right, so let's dive into this a little bit. So let's start with Jazz Is Phish. So is the concept exactly like what the name implies? You take Phish tunes, jazz them up, like rearrange them. How did that come about? What's the story with that group?
So we just did a Jazz Is Phish song called Camel Walk. That was that little improv thing that we did. It's on the record. Actually, we're doing a thing today where if you go on jazzisfish.com and sign up for the newsletter, you get a free download. And it's Dennis Chambers on drums on the track. That's for free. So that's pretty crazy.
Awesome. How'd you get Dennis involved with that?
So like that circle's really amazing, and I owe it all to my brother Adam Chase. Like we have a band called the Chase Brothers Band that we're building right now, but we're really a company. We do a bunch of different tributes and do studio work. We do private work. We work with Jazz Is Phish, James Brown Dance Party. We have a new project called Family Affair. It's a Sly and the Family Stone tribute.
Talk about great gigs. You guys must have just a boatload of fun.
Oh my God, it's a blessing for sure, 100%. So the Jazz Is Phish thing started because we love Jazz Is Dead, Jimmy Herring, that project that happened in, I guess, the 90s. And Derek Trucks was on one of those records.
Yeah. Keep going. I'm just making sure this is on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that inspired us to do a version of that same project for Phish.
Right.
We grew up with Phish, not really the Dead. I mean, we loved the Dead growing up as well. But Phish, we actually got a chance to see in like the late 90s.
For sure. So how do you, do you, tell me about the process of like taking a Phish song and making it jazzier.
So I guess jazz is kind of loose. Like, have you heard the Jazz is Dead project? Have you heard of it?
I have not heard it.
Okay, so they don't really put a swing beat to Dead tunes. Like, it's kind of like I don't want to use the word elevator jazz because it's not really it. But like, if you're like, you hear a jazz tune version of a pop song where you hear like a sax playing the melody instead of a vocalist. But it's still the same groove. It might have different instrumentation. You hear that sometimes in elevator music or something like that. So it's like a funkier, raw, more straight ahead version of that. You know what I mean?
So do you not have vocalists?
We don't have vocalists.
Gotcha. So you cover all those parts.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
So the little flip around, like the Grateful Dead was always a large band. Like they always had, two drummers, not always, but most of the time, 2 drummers, keys, 2 guitar players, sometimes background vocals.
Yeah, just
like
obscenely
a
big.
lot of people. And Phish is a 4-piece. So
Yeah,
when Jazz is Dead did the tribute to the Dead, they did it as a 4 or sometimes 5-piece. So they shrunk it down, and all the melodies were played on the guitar by Jimmy Herring on those albums that are famous and amazing. For us, we wanted to kind of flip it because Phish is already a 4-piece, and to do a 4-piece tribute to them felt like it was just too much of the same. So we decided to have like a 3-piece horn section and let the horns do the vocals.
So the horns do all the vocals?
Not all. Like there's some that are covered by guitar or keys or even bass at times. So we mix it up, but they're primarily the vocalists or the horns.
Dude, that's pretty sweet.
It's fun. So the process is, my brother and I are really the only Phish fans in the group. So
and what does your brother play?
He plays drums.
Okay.
So we hire people that really never listen to Phish. I mean, they might have heard him in passing, but weren't like into it like we were when we were young.
And you do that purposefully?
Purposefully, yeah, because we want people to learn these tunes with a clean slate. Like they hear like 100 versions of it or saw it live 50 times. You know what I mean?
Not letting their ear lead them.
Yeah, so it's like, here's the material, here's a chord progression, and then even the horn players, like, we'll write out a horn arrangement of the actual melody and bring all that stuff to a rehearsal room. And I might take the progression and reharmonize it or sub some things out or cut a part that might feel weird with like a bigger band or horn. We kind of have it as a template to write with. Like the song Camel Walk that we played earlier, our version isn't verbatim. Like we do like a West Coast boogaloo beat to like more of like a straight, like moderate tempo funk song. And then we take liberties with it. Like we don't follow the structure of the same. We cut it up. We add hits. We add drum section. We
gotta add the hits, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's exactly. The James Brown rubs off on everything.
dude, I can't wait to get talking about that, man.
So yeah, I mean, we don't have limits. You know, we kind of go with an open palette and bring different musicians together that are all real creative.
Yeah.
So we kind of drive it and collectively write or come up with the compositions based on, here's the horn charts, the melody, and here's the progression. What do you want to do with it, guys? I have some ideas. What do you think about this? And people just bring out reference tracks like, oh, check out this live Miles track. This Bitches Brew phase. Let's use this beat over Maze, or like different things. Like we'll take a song and kind of infuse it with some Herbie Hancock or Red Clay or something. You know what I mean? Like find jazz-ish inspired stuff and infuse it into the Phish music and change it. So a lot of the cats playing it know our version and still have no idea what the original.
They never do their homework and check out the original?
They do, but they're not. When we're playing it live, they're not hearing what the fans are hearing. Like the fans come out and they're singing to us.
Well, that was my next question. How does it connect with the fan base, which is obviously diehard that hangs on every note?
Yeah.
How is it going?
It's going really great. I mean, they love it because it's a surprise to them. Like the tunes are changed enough. Like if you go to a band you really dig, you kind of know the song after the first couple beats because you just hear that's that lick or that's that chord or here's that setup on the drum. It's going to be this. Like for anyone and any music they love. So we take that anticipation and kind of play with it a little bit. So we'll set up a tune a completely different way, and until they hear that melody they're familiar with, they have no idea what's about to come. And then once the melody sinks, they're like, oh, this sounds familiar. And then they hear someone next to them singing, oh, it's Ghost. Or whatever it is, and they start singing, and it fits, and it's kind of fun for them because they don't know where it's going. I mean, we started the band.
And do you find that the audience, when they start singing in those parts, come in at the same key you guys in?
Yeah, they're great.
Dude, that's amazing.
The funniest thing is some of the cats, like we did our first year, Anthony Wellington was our primary bass player. He subs in and out. Like we have like 4 or 5 instrumentalists at every chair just because all the cats we try to get are real busy and have other bands.
And how often do you guys gig?
We try to do like at least 2 weekends a month.
So like not enough for full-time players, but like you gotta have a rotation.
We have a rotation. I mean, some months are real busy, some are kind of light. Like we we really want it to be great every time, so we don't take gigs that we don't think we can get the best lineup and have the most impact with the show. You know, we want everything to be special. So like, if you come out to see us, like we put time and energy into every specific show and made it unique from a different one. So we put a lot of thought into it before we just play. And we're not doing the same set list every night or the same like repertoire.
Well, that was my next question is, you know, do you guys ever try to do like, you know, the quintessential Dead Phish thing where like, you know, you cover a show and you do it in order they did it but change the whole thing up? You ever do that?
Not with this band, just because
I know it's crazy.
It's different. I mean,
I know.
It doesn't conjure the feeling of what that show had. You know what I mean? Like it's different. It's a departure. But it's funny you say that because years ago, when I was living in Charleston, South Carolina,
I used to live in Charleston.
Really? Nice.
Yeah, I went to college of Charleston.
Beautiful.
It's God's own backyard.
100%.
What years were you there?
2005 to 10.
I was there in 2005. I mean, yeah, dude, like.
So you know Elise, the American Idol finalist from Charleston?
Yes, was it, what's her?
Testone. Well, she was in an original band with us in Charleston called Emotive. We also played as Black Eyed Susan for a while. We did a James Brown tribute there, and we did a Zeppelin thing. But I was playing jazz with her at like.
What was the Zeppelin thing called?
It was Emotive's Zeppelin tribute. I don't know.
I mean, maybe. I mean, but in all honesty, I mean, I was thick into the partying then.
Yeah,
you know, I was.
That town is
I was deep in the black hole. The cloud was, you know, all the way over. That's crazy.
But we did, when we lived there, we had a band called Strange Design, and we did just that. Like, we were the Dark Star Orchestra of Phish. We would pick set lists and play them in their entirety. Like, the whole show, we jump on trampolines and play vacuum solos and dress up and have guests.
Dude, I'm getting vague memories. I was there from 2003 to 2006, so there was probably a one-year overlap or so, something like that.
Definitely.
Yeah, I lived at 99 Bull, that big pink house. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Downtown?
Yeah, downtown.
Nice. I lived in Mount Pleasant and West Ashley, I think.
Gotcha. Did you go to College of Charleston?
No, I moved down there when I was 24, I think, something like that.
To play music?
Kind of like as a home base for touring, you know. Not because the scene there was great. I mean, it was cool, but it was more like we want to live by the beach, and California is expensive and far from our family.
Yeah, that and yeah, I mean.
So we all got a house, and it was cheap.
That and it's Charleston, South Carolina.
Yeah,
There's like 7 girls to every guy.
And it's gorgeous. I mean, it's really nice out. Like,
it is
great food everywhere.
It is the spot.
It's amazing.
It is amazing. Everybody I know that's lived there, they have that same.
Yeah.
Like as soon as you mentioned, they're like, oh yeah.
The diamond in the rough.
Yeah, you know. Well, the word's getting out. Don't go to Charleston.
I know about it. Hey, the real estate value will tell you, right?
Oh, dude, no joke. Cool.
Yeah, we've never done any like shows like that with Jazz Is Phish. And, I mean, I guess it just depends on who the players are, but
sure.
One day maybe. Who knows?
Gotcha.
Cool.
Well, I'll tell you what. You know, I want to talk about the James Brown dance party, but let's play another one.
Okay.
So
let's do it.
So the one you just did. What was that the side of? What'd you say that was?
It's called Camel Walk. It's just the improv section from the tune. Like we would trade solos over that, go through like a whole horn section, and then it was on like a drum thing.
So, in the James Brown realm, I know you do a lot of just like heavy rhythm, the chicka chicka. You know, is there anything in that show where you always take a lead over, which is a lot of fun? I know it's probably not much because it's the James Brown.
I get like 2 or 3 solos. I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna.
No, I'm asking not for you to throw anybody under the bus because I want to see if you can pick a rhythm that we can jam over.
Yeah, I mean
that James Brown vein.
There's grooves that are so quintessential to like a horn that you need the horn to blow over it to feel right. But I would love to play all of those, so I'll always get to play my favorite ones.
Yeah.
I mean, every now and again I'll get something good. I usually solo over Man's World, which is like a slow kind of blues thing.
I got it. Let's do it. You do it in D.
But what I was gonna say is the Cold Sweat thing.
What key you in?
D. This is the riff at the end. Just that like real sparse saxophone. That was cool.
That was awesome. All right, so your other band that you play in, it sounds like my dream band, James Brown Dance Party.
Yeah,
how long you been doing that? How'd you get into that? And what is that?
Well, we started doing something like this in Charleston back when we were living there. We used to do the Poorhouse and Music Farm and.
Dude, yeah, I mean,
nice little rotation going on.
I'm
sure you were at one of those shows.
Dude, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean,
honestly,
you want to make the people dance? Throw on the James Brown.
I think 2007 was our first. You must.
I might have missed that. I think I was in California by then.
But yeah, like we just love James. I mean, he's the ultimate performer, ultimate frontman, ultimate guy. Like,
dude, you can't beat a James Brown dance party.
So I mean, we just Adam.
I'm sure you have kids, right?
Yeah.
I mean, do you ever have James Brown dance parties with your kids? Like, all the time. That's like our thing in our house.
You can't like deny it, you know, once you hear that groove, you're just...
Hot pants!
Yeah. I don't play that one for the kids. But...
Get up off that thing!
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's infectious. You can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to do something like that. My brother started knocking on doors of promoters and people to get involved, and, you know, they all were down, and just kind of something we've been doing since 2015. We launched both bands, but we only did like a handful of gigs that year.
You launched them at the same time?
No, well, James Brown did, I think it was the last day of January 2015 was the first gig, and then we played Jazz Fest and maybe one more gig that year.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2016 we were more active.
You played Jazz Fest in where? New Orleans?
Yeah, New Orleans.
Dude.
We did like an after party thing.
That's great. Where'd you play down there, do you remember?
I think I don't remember the name of it.
I love New Orleans. I need to go back.
No, I don't know. So we did it this consecutive year after that, and that was more of an active year. But that fall we launched Jazz Is Phish of 2015. So 2016 was really the first year we did those bands seriously.
Yeah.
And then last year we did a bunch of work. So they're both like 2-year-olds essentially. So they're kind of babies.
Yeah.
Relatively speaking. And Sly we just did on New Year's, so that was the first of one.
How did that go?
Unbelievable. My brother did one in Asheville. So
really?
A slide, like a kind of.
So is your brother based here too?
He's in Asheville, North Carolina.
Love Asheville too, man.
It's a great town.
Dude, it's a great town. I went to camp when I was younger, right outside of Asheville. The Smoky Mountains have a very special place in my heart. It's such a good spot.
Yeah, it's some good country for sure.
Dude, big time. You do much bluegrass stuff?
Yes, I love bluegrass, and I have another project called the Pickin' Coalition. We actually play at Bordy and some other spots around. Not Bordy.
You know, Bordy's right here.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, when I'm driving out here, Glenarm, like we did Bordy and what's the other one? We just did a private party. Like,
is it another winery?
Oh, Ladue Gardens was one that.
Yeah, Ladue's right up here. We played.
I didn't play there, but
year,
like some of the cats that I do the bluegrass stuff with used to play there all the time. Like,
dude, next time you do anything bluegrassy like that, especially out here, please let me know.
Yeah, for sure, man.
That is like I love that. But I never ever get to play it. Yeah,
man.
I mean, yeah, that's and the funk stuff too. I mean, I'm sure you can relate, but like you're in a bunch of different bands. It sounds like you get your fix with different genres.
Yeah, everything is very different for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. See, with my band, I mean, we're like almost entirely, switched over to like the wedding corporate thing, and it's like 10 to 12 a month, and so it's like, it's always the same over and over again.
Stuff
oh yeah,
jazz stuff.
Which is great because we're super tight and we do it really really well, but never get to play anything different and never get to see any music too. You know what I mean? That's the hard thing.
Yeah, that's a tough one for me. I don't get to see a lot of music.
It's such a strange thing. Everybody that comes through here, it always ends up coming up. Like the coolest thing about doing these for me is that I actually get to meet other musicians.
Yeah,
because
you wouldn't see him on the surface.
No, because if you're any good, you're working, and if you're working, you're not seeing a show because you're playing a show. So there's so many of us that don't even know each other.
Yeah, it's
it's a weird.
Kind of silly, right?
It is kind of silly because like you start doing it because you fall in love with music at a young age and you're passionate, and then once you start doing it for a living, you just basically stop seeing shows. It's strange, isn't it?
But then the ones you get to see are that much more special, you know?
That
you're like, I gotta go see that guy, or
that is true.
To Schofield when he comes to town.
Yeah, it's like I'm taking a do not book for this.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, not only am I buying a ticket, I'm losing money.
Some subs, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So getting back to the James Brown dance party thing, how many pieces were in that band?
It fluctuates. I think the smallest version we ever did was a 7-piece, and it's been up to like 11 or 12.
Are you the only guitar player?
Not always.
Not always?
Yeah.
How do you make with a band that big with 2 guitars, especially in that James Brown sound where it's like minimalist in a lot I mean, you find parts for 2 guitars like that?
James has had 3 guitar players on gigs.
I know.
Yeah.
It's crazy to see. And you know, I got to see him before he died. Did you ever get a chance to see him?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Tightest band I've probably ever seen. Like, and he would, when he would do like, you know, give me the hits, he would do like such random numbers.
Yeah.
Like, give me 13. Or like,
yeah, unbelievable.
You know, like,
worked them hard.
Like,
sure.
Yeah. And one of those deals where like if one person misses, everybody gets fined.
I don't know about that. I know he finds individuals, but
no, I thought like back in the day.
Yeah.
I remember some story Bootsy, some interview with Bootsy saying like, you know, like when someone new joined the band, they got like a little grace period.
Yeah.
But then after the grace period was over, anytime the new person missed, everybody got fined.
Oh yeah. Hey, I wouldn't put anything past James. He's kind of like that. The funny thing is he wasn't like classically trained, so he didn't know how to read or really communicate what he wanted.
Oh, you mean those words are like, ha! They're not real, you know.
No, I'm saying when he would train people on the tunes and how he wanted the hits, he'd be like, go to the 4 chord, or I need the dominant here, or play that a little, like, where's the sharp 9 instead of the regular, like he would just say, no, I want that sound. Like he just had trouble communicating, so they had to decipher him. And he was also, you know, he ruled with the iron fist, so like
he was ramming.
He like knew what he wanted, but didn't exactly know how to articulate it. But if he messed it up, he wouldn't, you know, he would know exactly what was.
Dude, and I love those old James Brown records where like you can like it's so clear that they recorded that live, one take in the studio, and it's actually him being like, "Can you take it to the bridge?" Like, yeah, and like they don't go until he goes.
Oh yeah,
and then they're just like, you know what, we're gonna keep it because there's so many tracks where like it speeds up a little bit, it slows down, but like it makes it. It makes it.
We played in New York with Fred Thomas, the bass player, for like 30 years until Bootsy came in.
That's awesome.
And we did a tune, Watergate, that he said he hadn't done since the studio. And then I asked him like about.
I don't know if I know that.
I asked him about like what was up with the bass or what happened with this one section. And he's like, yeah, we messed it up, but they kept it, and it was cool. And I was like, should we do it that way? He's like, yeah, why not? So
I don't know.
Like certain things happen live that were just meant to happen. That weren't necessarily perfect, but they were like magical of the energy of that tape.
Yeah.
And like I was watching the documentary about it, and Clyde was saying on the documentary how it was really like one take, and they would press the record there, and it would just be done like back in the old days.
Well, they were trying to save money, and they had rehearsed their just faces off.
Oh yeah, so they came in hot, and they would take it and then press it, and it would be done. And
go.
I've heard some crazy. It's about like vocalists coming to him being like, I didn't like that take, I really want to do it again, and he's like, I don't remember the exact words, but he was really a believer in the energy of the first take being the magic one. That was the essence of the energy, and then if you did it again, and you'd be thinking about it and not feeling it.
Yeah.
So even there was a mistake, and you played it technically better the second time. The first one had the energy of the creation of that moment, you know, instead of trying to duplicate a moment, you were creating a moment.
I had not heard that about it. That makes sense, though.
It does make sense. I mean, hey,
especially if you're doing it live in one take.
Yeah, and you're doing it to tape and analog.
And
got these great old school mics, and you're in a big room with the with everyone.
Dude, I love that you can just hear the whole band and they're talking on these hits.
It's amazing.
It's the stuff dreams are made of.
Yeah, unbelievable.
It's pretty incredible.
He was one of a kind, that's for sure.
All right, so we've been talking a while here. Let's let's talk about your gear a little bit.
Okay.
So you're using one of my amps, this PRS Sun Zero.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I knew you were a PRS guy. I would have brought my PRS too. I play with a McCarty Hollow 2 is my other axe.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, it's like my main axe.
Gotcha.
So I have like my jazz guitar for the jazzy stuff and my funky plucky for the country and funk stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then they back each other up because the PRS is real versatile. Put on my bridge pickup and I get the pluck too. So
Yep.
it's
Dude,
really all there.
These are great guitars, man.
I love them.
Dude, these are really great guitars. Especially these going to the single coil, man. Like they're so transparent. They work
real nice.
They work so well.
Yeah,
so that's just a regular American Telly, huh?
American Telly, but it had like the Stack Series button on here and it got a little mucky.
Mm-hmm.
So I had my buddy at Phil Jacoby, shout out,
Mm-hmm.
put a 4-channel selector. So now the stacker is right there. And then that's this guy. This is the normal Telly in series, and then that's the bridge pickup.
Gotcha.
So it just took some of that inconsistency and the fuzz and crunch out of the button.
Gotcha. And so what amp do you normally play with? What's your main rig?
I love my Fender Deluxe, like the 112. It's the DeVille model, not like the old school Deluxe, like Twin or any of that stuff. It just feels...
Oh, you don't love lugging the huge Twin around?
I mean, I have a 410 DeVille I use in the studio sometimes.
And leave it
I just like the 12-inch speaker, like it's got body to it more so with the Telly. It's such a thin sounding guitar that any like bottom and mid is going to help it out a lot.
Sure. Yeah. No,
so that amp really feels nice. I use it a lot. I just got some work done and redid like a bunch of the insides and new tubes and the whole nine. It feels real nice.
Awesome. And then is this, do you vary boards for different gigs, or is this like what you bring out?
It's all in flux consistently. Like I have some buddies that make pedals, and I got some buddies who are really pedal enthusiasts and buy pedals and test them out and let me take them on gigs. Like I got a couple stuff from him in here, my buddy Eric.
That's your one.
Shout out Elo. Actually, the Hartman just died, but he's let me use his King of Tone, which is fantastic.
And again, make sure when you're over, you go back and tag everybody so that
yes,
and send me links so I can put it on YouTube. So what is that you're putting on?
This is the Analog Man King of Tone. So it's like more of a boost. That's clean. There's some presence, and then it's got another one that's slightly different. Same setting, a little more crunch. You can put them together. Definition for any of it.
It's nice that it lets you stack them.
Yep, and then you can stack one with other things, and the Bicomp 2 is another one that Eric's let me use, an Analog Man, and I really dig both of them. One of them has like a Ross simulator, and that's one that Trey from Phish made popular. So when I started doing the Phish stuff, he was like, "You gotta try this Ross compressor," and this is the Ross. Switch the note a little. It's got a lot of sustain to it, which is really nice. With distortion. And the other side is actually giving me a little screech, so I've been avoiding it.
Yeah, it does have a little screech.
Just needs to be cleaned up a little bit.
And I like that you're using the old school Vox Watt too. I use that.
And here's the Screamer 808, like the old one, but I got the mini one because I fly a lot for gigs and I don't want to have too much weight.
How often do you have to fly for gigs?
A lot, like probably more than half of them, because like we do West Coast and
like a half dozen a month or something like that.
No, I mean I only do 2 weekends a month, so like
2 weekends. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, if I'm doing those are the national acts. Like the local stuff, I try to play as much as possible around.
National is the Jazz Is Phish and
James
Brown
Brown
Dance Party.
Sly kind of. It's only played New York once, so
yeah,
it's probably gonna.
Oh, I'm sure it'll pick up, dude.
Yeah, those we fly. We'll fly out west and rent a car, or we'll fly wherever we need to go and rent a van, meet people.
Are you going to NAMM by any chance?
I'm not, because my sister-in-law's due that weekend, so I have to stay home.
Gotcha. All right.
My brother's going and representing, and our tour manager is his wife, so it's kind of like a family.
Oh, well, I'm going. You should hook me up with your brother.
Yes, I will, for sure.
That would be cool.
I'm kind of upset I'm not going, but he's doing 2 shows at the Mint. He's doing like another Hendrix thing. And then I don't know what the second show is.
Definitely hook me up with him because I'll be out there. I would definitely go to a show.
Yeah, you should definitely. I'll link you guys up for sure.
That'd be
And
cool.
I just started messing with the plimsoll full tone, which I dig. That's like more of my higher gain pedal. And it stacks well too.
Yeah.
So that one's cool. The Hartman, it's a battery and it died unfortunately because I forgot to unplug it. I gotta put a fresh one in there. But this is like the Octave Fuzz, the Hendrix thing. I picked it up. I borrowed it from Eric for the Hendrix tribute on the 16th with Navasha.
Dude, I just grabbed one. I don't know if you ever messed with this one, but I just grabbed this one, the Octopussy from Catlin brand.
Oh, nice. I've been like literally on a rampage testing out Octave Fuzzes.
Which ones do you like? I'm just gonna throw it on here and play with it just cause. Which ones do you like? Have you tried this one?
I haven't tried that one. I really like the.
You ever tried this, by the way? It's the best pedal I've ever played.
Nice. That's badass.
It's the Clean EP Booster. It's not clean, but it's
kind of like the King of Tone. Like it's a little.
Yeah, but it's a little more. All right. Let's see how that sounds. Then we'll play something else. Why are we not working now? Oh God.
It's got the octave on there too.
Really loud. This is backwards.
Yeah, it's weird.
You see that?
Yeah.
To the right is off.
Yeah.
I was like, am I crazy? Yeah, love that.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. Yeah, loud.
There it is.
All right, let's play another one.
Okay.
Let's do a slow one. We can do Man's World if you want, or anything else you want.
You want
It's
to
a
do
different groove.
You don't want to do a bluegrass one?
Sure. Deal. You got it.
Do,
I can absolutely do a bluegrass one. It can be fast too.
yeah, let's do. Johnny and I do. I can't think of Folsom Prison Blues.
Sure, whatever you want.
So when you do that tune, you do the 11-bar blues or you do 12? He recorded 11 on his record.
I did not know that, so I'm assuming I do it wrong. 11 will probably screw me up, but you can try it.
We cook it too. We're like. That's 11.
That screwed me up. That's hilarious, dude. That's hilarious. All right, well, thank you so much for coming to join me today. I really do appreciate it. Dude, you sound great. I'm so psyched to meet you. And once again, just tell everybody where they can find you, and then we'll be sure to come back and drop links. Everybody have some stuff to click on. But yeah, what are the links? What should people search for?
Just look up Is Phish, James Brown Dance Party, Chase Brothers. We're all on Facebook. We're on the web. We're easy to find.
Gotcha.
Check us out.
Awesome. Well, hopefully one of these days I can get out and get a chance to see you guys.
Yeah, for
and,
sure.
And hook me up with your brother when he, for when we go to NAMM. And dude, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, likewise, man. Have fun out west.
Dude, I will. I'm looking forward to it. Man, that sounded awesome.